You want to know why people fear the unknown? Because they can't control it, can't predict it. And when they can't predict something, they feel weak. You see, most people walk around thinking they have life figured out. They think they can read others, put them in little boxes: weak, strong, loser, winner. All those cute little labels they slap on people to make sense of their dull, pathetic lives. But the moment they can't read someone, the moment they can't tell what's going on behind those dead, tired eyes, oh, that's when the fear kicks in. That's when their hands start shaking. That's when they realize they ain't in control. They want you to be predictable, to react the way they expect. They want to push a button and get a reaction. Anger, sadness, fear. But what happens when they push and nothing happens? When you don't flinch, when you don't beg, when you don't let them see what's inside? That, my friend, is power. You want to be feared? Stop being readable. Stop letting them see what makes you tick. Become a black hole, something they can't define, something they can't understand. Because people don't fear monsters. No. No, no. They fear uncertainty. You ever wonder why the world is terrified of silence? Why people drown themselves in noise and distractions, in the endless nonsense of everyday life? Because silence means facing yourself. It means peeling away the layers and looking at what's underneath. And trust me, most people, they don't want to see that. They're scared of their own reflection. But you have to embrace it. You have to sit in the silence until it no longer scares you. Because when the world is loud and you remain quiet, they start asking questions. They start second guessing. And that's when you become dangerous. You see, most people have an equation for life. They think if they follow certain steps, they'll get certain results. Be nice, people like you. Work hard, you succeed. Love someone, they stay. Cute, isn't it? A little fairy tale world where everything is fair, where effort equals reward. But let me tell you something. The world, it doesn't work that way. You could bleed your soul out for people, and they'll still throw you away the second you stop being useful. You could work your hands to the bone, and someone with half your talent but twice your connections will take what you earned. You could love someone with every inch of your existence, and they'll walk away like you were never even there. The problem isn't that the world is unfair. The problem is that you expect it to be fair. That's your mistake. That's why you're hurt. That's why you're angry. You keep thinking there's a logic to this game, but there isn't. The only rule is there are no rules. And you know what that means? It means you stop waiting for fairness. Stop expecting things to make sense. Stop looking for justice in a place where power is the only language people understand. You don't beg for respect. You command it. You don't ask for a place at the table. You take the whole damn table and set it on fire if you have to. Because the moment you stop playing by their rules, they start playing by yours. You ever notice how people only respect what they fear losing? You show them kindness, they see weakness. You show them mercy, they see opportunity. You let them in, they take everything. But the moment you become untouchable, the moment they don't know what you're thinking, what you're feeling, that's when they start watching their step. That's when they hesitate before saying your name. That's when they start treating you like something not to be messed with. But here's the thing. They won't fear you just because you say you're strong. No, no, no. People only believe what they see. So what do they see when they look at you? A man in control? Or a man waiting? Waiting for permission, waiting for approval, waiting for someone to notice? If you want them to fear you, you gotta stop waiting. Stop hoping people will see your worth. Stop wishing for a day when they'll understand. That day isn't coming. No one's gonna wake up and suddenly give you the respect you deserve. You either take it or you die waiting for it. You want an example? Look at history. Look at every man who changed the world. You think they were loved? No. They were feared. Not because they were violent, not because they were cruel, but because they weren't readable. They didn't move like the rest. They didn't need validation. They walked alone, and the world had no choice but to follow. Let me tell you something about pain. People think it makes them weak, makes them damaged. But pain is the greatest weapon you will ever own. It sharpens you. It breaks you down and rebuilds you into something stronger. The only question is, do you let it consume you, or do you use it? Most people run from their pain. They bury it under distractions, addictions, meaningless relationships. But you take that pain, you hold it close, and you listen to what it's trying to teach you. Because pain is the only thing in this world that doesn't lie. It doesn't pretend. It tells you the truth about people, the truth about yourself, the truth about how this world really works. So the next time you feel like you're breaking, like the weight is too much, like the world is trying to crush you under its heel, you laugh. You laugh because you know something they don't. You know that every ounce of pain they throw at you, it's making you stronger. And one day, when they look at you and realize they can't break you, can't control you, can't read you, that's the day they start fearing you. And when they fear you, you win. You know why people follow the rules? Because they're afraid of what happens when they don't. Not because they believe in them. Not because they think it's the right thing to do. No, no, no. They follow because they're scared of what's outside the lines. But here's the trick. Those lines, they don't exist. They're made up. A little illusion someone created a long time ago to keep the weak in check, to keep the sheep walking in a straight line while the wolves roam free. And you're sitting there, frustrated, angry, looking around at a world that never plays fair, never gives you a break. But tell me, why are you still playing? Why are you still waiting for permission? Why are you still acting like there are rules to this? They tell you to be good. They tell you to be patient, to be kind, to be understanding. But the second you expect the same from them, they turn their backs. The second you show weakness, they eat you alive. The second you ask for fairness, they laugh in your face. And yet, you still listen. You still believe in their little fairy tales. Still think if you just hold on a little longer, if you just suffer quietly, one day it'll all turn around. But that day is never coming. Because the people who win in this world, they don't wait for the game to be fair. They change the game. They rewrite the rules. They don't sit in the corner hoping someone will finally recognize their worth. They become something that demands recognition, and not through words, not through begging, through presence, through action, through becoming something so unpredictable, so untouchable, that the world has no choice but to watch. You ever notice how the strongest men are always the quiet ones? The ones who don't speak unless they have something worth saying? That's not a coincidence. That's not luck. That's power. Because people fear what they don't understand. And when you stop making it easy for them, when you stop letting them in, stop showing them your every move, they panic. Because now they don't know how to handle you. And when people don't know how to handle something, they either worship it or they fear it. And between the two, which one do you think keeps you safe? Because let me tell you something, kid. Kindness won't save you. Love won't save you. Being a good person won't save you. Not in this world. The only thing that saves you is being someone they can't touch. Not physically, not emotionally, not mentally. You have to become something beyond their reach. Something they look at and say, I don't know what he's thinking. I don't know what he's feeling. And that scares the hell out of me. And I know what you're thinking. But I don't want to lose myself. I don't want to become cold. I don't want to shut myself off. That's the lie they've sold you. That if you stop showing your heart to everyone, you'll lose it. But let me ask you something. When you showed them your heart, what did they do with it? Did they protect it? Did they cherish it? Or did they rip it apart, piece by piece, until there was nothing left but regret? The truth is, keeping your heart safe isn't the same as losing it. You don't lose yourself by keeping them out. You lose yourself by letting them in, by handing them a map to all your weaknesses and hoping they'll be kind enough not to use it. And that's a fool's game. Because sooner or later someone will use it. You ever see a man who's been through hell and come back? You ever look into his eyes? They're different. There's something in them that wasn't there before. An emptiness, a depth, a silence that speaks louder than words ever could. That's not weakness. That's not a broken man. That's a man who's learned. A man who's seen the truth. A man who understands that the only way to survive in a world that feeds on the weak is to stop being weak. So I ask you again, what do they see when they look at you? A man still waiting for life to be fair? A man still hoping for an apology that will never come? A man still trying to prove his worth to people who never deserved him in the first place? Or do they see something else? Do they see someone who no longer needs their approval? Someone who doesn't react, doesn't flinch, doesn't care what they think? Because when they see that, that's when they start fearing you. That's when they hesitate before speaking your name. That's when they know they can't touch you anymore. And when they can't touch you, you win. So go ahead. Keep waiting. Keep hoping. Keep playing by their rules. See how far that gets you. But one day, you'll wake up and realize you wasted your life waiting for a fairness that never existed. By then, it'll be too late. Or you can wake up now. You can stop waiting. You can stop hoping. You can stop being a pawn in someone else's game and start making the rules yourself. Because in the end, there are two types of people in this world. The ones who follow and the ones who are followed. The ones who beg and the ones who command. The ones who are read like an open book. And the ones who are feared because no one can figure them out. So which one are you? I already know the answer. The real question is, do you? You're still sitting there thinking, pondering. I can see it in your eyes. You want to believe what I'm saying, but something inside you is still holding on. Holding on to that last thread of hope that maybe, just maybe, the world isn't as cruel as I say it is. That maybe if you just try a little harder, be a little better, things will change. That's cute. It really is. But let me break something to you. Hope is the most dangerous illusion ever created. They sell it to you like a drug, get you addicted to it, tell you to just keep going, just keep believing, and everything will fall into place. But hope is a trick, a scam, a leash they put around your neck to keep you tame. Because as long as you hope, you stay waiting. Waiting for justice. Waiting for things to make sense. Waiting for people to realize what they did to you. But tell me, how long have you been waiting? How many nights have you stayed up thinking about how unfair it all is? How many times have you convinced yourself maybe tomorrow will be different? But it never is it? Because the truth is, nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is waking up thinking about how to fix what they broke inside you. You think they're losing sleep over you? You think they feel guilty? No, they moved on. They're laughing, living, forgetting. And you're stuck. You're still hoping. But let me ask you, what happens when you take hope away? What's left? Reality. And reality is cold. It doesn't care about fairness, doesn't care about your feelings, doesn't care about what you deserve. It only cares about one thing: who owns it. And right now, you're owned. Owned by the past. Owned by memories. Owned by the weight of what they did to you. You're still reacting, still hurting, still proving, still trying to make sense of something that never will. But when you let that go, when you kill the need for fairness, for closure, for anything outside of yourself, that's when you become dangerous. Because when they can't read you, when they don't know what's inside your head, when they look at you and see a man who no longer needs them, that's when the power shifts. That's when you stop being the victim and start being something they fear. But to get there, you have to let everything go. The anger, the regret, the idea that they owe you something, because they don't, and they never will. And that's your first lesson in taking control. Control. Funny word, isn't it? People throw it around like it means something. Control yourself. Control your emotions. Control your life. But the truth is, control isn't about holding on. It's about letting go. Letting go of the need for revenge. Letting go of the idea that things will ever be different. Letting go of the person you used to be so you can become the person you were meant to be. And most people, they can't do it. They can't let go. Because letting go means admitting the truth. And the truth is that nobody is watching out for you. Nobody is going to fix you. Nobody is going to give you the life you want. You either take it or you stay here in this endless loop of waiting, hurting, hoping. So tell me, which one is it? You want to be feared? You want to be respected? Then stop being understood. Stop explaining yourself. Stop letting them know how you feel. Stop giving them access to your soul like it's some kind of open door policy. You think silence is weakness? You think being unreadable makes you alone? No, it makes you free. Because the less they know, the more they assume. And when people start assuming, they start fearing. Fear, now that's real power. Not anger, not hate, fear. Because fear doesn't just make people respect you. It makes them careful. It makes them hesitate. It makes them wonder. And that hesitation, that moment of doubt before they decide to cross you, that's what keeps you safe. That's what makes the difference between being used and being untouchable. You think I'm wrong? Look around. Look at the people who run this world. Look at the ones who are untouchable, unbreakable. Do they beg for respect? Do they ask for fairness? No. They take what they want, and the world adjusts to them, because they don't explain. They don't react. They don't let the world inside their head. And the second you master that, the second you stop caring what they think, what they expect, what they assume about you, that's when you become something they fear. So go ahead, keep playing their game, keep showing your cards, letting them see every thought, every feeling, every weakness. See where that gets you. But don't come crying when they break you again. When they take what little is left and toss it aside like it was nothing. Because you let them in, because you let them read you. Or you can stop. Right here, right now. You can choose to let them wonder, let them doubt, let them fear the unknown that is you. And when they do, when they look at you and don't know what's going on behind your eyes, what you're thinking, what you might do, that's when you'll know you've finally won. You know what the worst part is? The thing that makes most people break? It's not the pain. It's not the betrayal. It's not even the loneliness. No, no, no. It's the realization. The moment it finally clicks that everything they believed in was a lie. That all those times they were told to be patient, to be kind, to be understanding, it was all just a trick to keep them weak. That's the real breaking point. Not when the knife goes in, not when the people they trusted turn their backs, not when they're standing alone in the wreckage of everything they used to believe in. The real pain, the real suffering, it's when they look in the mirror and realize they spent their whole life playing the wrong game. And the ones who can't handle it, they go numb. They shut down. They let the world win. They sink into distractions, into meaningless routines, trying to forget that everything they once lived for was a joke. They try to unsee the truth. But the ones who can handle it, oh, they become something else. They become the thing the world wasn't prepared for. Because when a man has nothing left to believe in, when he finally stops searching for meaning, for justice, for love, he becomes free. And a free man, that's the most dangerous thing in the world. Because he doesn't play by the rules. He doesn't react the way they expect. He doesn't flinch. And that, my friend, is power. You ever wonder why the most feared men are always the ones who don't say much? Why people talk about them in whispers? Why even their enemies step carefully? It's not because they're the strongest, not because they're the smartest. It's because they don't show their hand. They don't let the world see what's inside. Because the moment they do, the moment they start explaining themselves, defending themselves, trying to make people understand, they lose. Because understanding breeds comfort. And comfort, that kills fear. But when people don't understand you, when they can't tell what you're thinking, can't predict your next move, that's when they fear you. That's when they respect you. That's when they start treating you like something real. And the sad part? Most people will never get this. They'll keep explaining themselves, keep justifying their choices, keep hoping that if they just say the right words, the world will finally understand them. But the truth? The world doesn't want to understand you. It wants to define you. It wants to put you in a box, slap a label on you, make you easy to categorize. And the second you let them do that, the second you give them an answer, a definition, a reason, you've lost. Because now they know you. Now they own you. But what happens when they can't? What happens when every time they think they've figured you out, you slip through their fingers? What happens when they push and you never react the way they expect? I'll tell you what happens. They get scared. Because people don't fear monsters. They don't fear violence. They don't fear cruelty. No. They fear uncertainty. They fear the unknown. They fear the man who walks into a room and makes the whole world hesitate. And that's the goal. Not to be liked, not to be loved, not to be understood, but to be something that makes the world think twice before speaking your name. But that won't happen if you keep doing what you're doing. If you keep explaining yourself. If you keep letting people inside. If you keep making it easy for them to read you. Because the moment they read you, they control you. They know what hurts you. They know what motivates you. They know exactly which buttons to push to get the reaction they want. And that's a weakness you can't afford. So tell me, how much longer are you going to keep giving them the map to your soul? How much longer are you going to keep handing them the knife and hoping they don't use it? How much longer are you going to keep waiting for people to treat you the way you treat them? Because let me tell you something. That day isn't coming. The people who hurt you, they don't feel guilty. The ones who left you, they don't regret it. The ones who used you, they sleep just fine at night. And you're the one carrying it. You're the one waking up every morning wondering what you did wrong. But here's the truth. You didn't do anything wrong. You just expected the world to be something it's not. You thought if you played by the rules, you'd win. But the rules were never meant to help you. They were meant to control you, to keep you predictable, to keep you weak. But now you know the truth. Now you see the game for what it really is. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to keep waiting, keep hoping, keep explaining? Or are you going to make sure the next time they look at you, they hesitate? Because when they hesitate, you win. And yet, even now, I can see the doubt creeping in. That little voice in the back of your head whispering, but I don't want to lose myself. Ah, yes. That's the final leash they keep on you. The fear that if you become unreadable, untouchable, unbreakable, you'll somehow stop being you. But let me ask you something. What exactly are you so afraid of losing? The part of you that forgave too easily, the part of you that trusted too much, the part of you that let people in, only to watch them tear you apart from the inside. That version of you wasn't you. It was a script someone else wrote for you, a version of yourself designed to be used, to be controlled, to be kept small, and yet you still hold on to it because it's familiar, because it's comfortable, because if you let it go, if you step into the unknown, you won't recognize yourself anymore. But let me tell you a secret. You don't want to recognize yourself. You want to become something so different, so far from the person they used to manipulate, that when they see you again, they won't even know who they're looking at. You want them to stare into your eyes and realize that whatever weakness, whatever softness, whatever access they once had to you is gone. Because that's when the fear sets in. That's when they start questioning every decision they ever made regarding you. That's when they start realizing that maybe, just maybe, they should have treated you differently. But by then, it's too late. Because the version of you they used to know, he's dead. And the one that stands in his place, he doesn't care anymore, not about their regrets, not about their apologies, not about their excuses, because he doesn't need them. And nothing terrifies a person more than realizing they no longer have power over someone they once controlled. You ever wonder why people always come back the moment you stop caring? Why they start trying to reach you when you've already moved on? It's because the moment they realize they can't read you anymore, they panic. They start searching for a way back in, trying to find the weak spots they used to exploit. But you don't let them. You never let them. Because the second you do, the second you entertain their games, their guilt, their fake remorse, they win. And you're right back where you started. You think strength is about being the loudest in the room? About proving yourself to everyone who ever doubted you? No. Strength is silence. Strength is sitting back and watching them try to figure you out and giving them nothing. Strength is looking into their eyes, seeing their desperation, their fear of the unknown that you've become, and saying nothing at all. Because the truth is, people aren't afraid of what they see. They're afraid of what they can't. And when you become unreadable, when you stop reacting, when you stop needing their validation, you stop being a person in their story. You become a force, something they can't define, something they can't manipulate, something they can't touch. And that is what separates the ones who are controlled from the ones who are feared. But that choice is yours. You can keep explaining yourself, keep showing your cards, keep letting them know exactly what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what they did to you. Or you can stop. You can step into the silence, into the uncertainty, and let them wonder. Because the moment they start wondering, the moment they start doubting, the moment they start hesitating, that's when you win. Because in the end, the ones who win, they're not the strongest, not the smartest, not the kindest. They're the ones who can't be read. And that's where most people fail. Not because they're weak, not because they're stupid, but because they need to be understood. They crave it. They want someone to look at them and say, I get you. But let me tell you something. Nobody truly gets you. Nobody ever will. People don't see you. They see a version of you that fits their story, a reflection of their own desires, their own fears, their own expectations. They don't want the real you. They want the version of you that's easiest for them to deal with. The one they can predict, the one they can control. And the moment you stop playing that role, the moment you stop being what they expect you to be, that's when the fear kicks in. Because now they don't know what you'll do next. Now you've broken the pattern. Now you're unpredictable. And people don't fear what they understand. They fear what they can't explain. That's why the strongest men don't talk much. They don't overshare. They don't sit around hoping someone will validate their pain, because they understand the truth. Words are cheap. Explanations are cheap. Power isn't in what you say, it's in what you withhold. It's in the silence, in the unreadable expression, in the complete and total control over what you let the world see. And that's what you have to master. Control. Not of others, not of circumstances, but of yourself. Because once you control yourself, nobody else can. Once you decide that nobody gets access to your mind, your emotions, your weaknesses, that's when you become something they fear. That's when you become something real. But the problem? Most people don't have the discipline for that. They think strength is about fighting back, about proving people wrong, about making some grand statement to show the world who they are. But that's not strength. That's neediness. That's still seeking something. Validation, respect, revenge, whatever it is, it still ties you to them. It still makes you react to them. And the moment you react, you're predictable. And the moment you're predictable, you're weak. Because the strongest men, they don't react. They don't seek. They exist. And that existence alone, that silent, untouchable presence, is what unsettles people the most. Because when they look at you and realize they have nothing on you, no leverage, no insight, no way to push your buttons, that's when the fear sets in. That's when they know they can't control you anymore. And that's the goal, isn't it? To be uncontrollable, to be untouchable, to be something that nobody can define, nobody can manipulate, nobody can break. But to get there, you have to let go of one thing: the need to be understood, the need to be heard, the need for anyone to see your side of things. Because the truth, they won't. They never will. And the second you stop caring about that, the second you stop needing it, that's when you become free. And freedom, real, untouchable, unshakable freedom, that's what they fear most. Not your anger, not your strength, not your words, but the fact that you don't need them anymore. That's what makes them weak. That's what makes them hesitate. And hesitation, that's everything.